This your boy CJ Goodfellow. I'm back with Colossal Sports News and Entertainment, aka Colossal Sports Zone. Here to break down the NFC and give you my predictions, wild cards, for playoff teams, and the team I believe that's going to make it to the Super Bowl out the NFC. So let's get into it. You got the Green Bay Packers. They've added Julius Peppers, who is about 35 now, and they're going to ask him to stand up and do some coverage and primarily rush the passer. So let's see how good he does at that. But he's bookending with Clay Matthews, which they should pair up into a tremendous tandem. But then they added Clinton Dix, get Casey Hayward back, one of their better corners. Devon House is pretty much excelling in training camp. You got Tremont Williams still there and Sam Shields, so you have some players, and hopefully they can excel at the defensive position at defensive nose tackle. Uh, the right end, the left end, their defensive linemen hasn't been holding up as well. They haven't been able to stop the run or plug up the gaps, giving the middle linebackers free reign to roam. So the linebackers they've been letting offensive linemen get to the second level too easy. But on the offensive side, they got Nelson, Randall Cobb. They drafted Devontae Adams, and they got that workhorse Eddie Lacy. I look for them to have a big year this year. Health, health, a healthy Aaron Rodgers should very much help a lot. The Chicago Bears. They got Jay Cutler, who is primarily their biggest problem along with their defense. Cutler has toys to throw with like Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffries, Marcellus Bennett, Matt Forte, the ultimate do everything running back. And Cutler has just not been able to stay healthy or withstand pressure in the big games or just pressure within the pocket. He's been crumbling for years and years now, even going back to Denver. But the Bears defense has been playing horrible this preseason. They're trying to rebuild it, bringing Charles Tillman back. Got Chris Conte coming back. They added Adrian Wilson, who was cut by the Cardinals and let go by the New England Patriots. He's a little bit long in the tooth. They have Jared Allen, Lamar Houston. Lamar Houston is an okay player. He's not nothing to marvel about. He's an okay defensive end, but Jared Allen is the difference maker, and he's going to have a big year if this Chicago defense return to form. They act like they have the 85 Bears. They ain't coming back, and that's defense is not the 85 Bears. They're not even the 2005 Bears. But want to look at Detroit. They just have trouble on the back end with their corners and safeties. Not too good there. A lot of youth at corner. So we'll see where how they play out. They have a good quarterback in Matthew Stafford. He just had to learn how to put touch on the ball and better accuracy when he's throwing. He's the primary reason. Along if he plays well, the Lions make the playoffs. If he doesn't, he didn't play well. In the defensive secondary, gave up a lot of points. The Vikings are the Vikings. They had Teddy Bridgewater. They're basically rebuilding with new head coach Mike Zimmerman, who's an excellent defensive mind. They're rebuilding. Who I see coming out making the playoffs. I see Green Bay winning the division at 11-5. NFC South, I see you got Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Carolina. You have those good teams in there. Carolina, I expect to take a step back, not return the receiver from last year. Losing Mike Mitchell, who's an important part. Losing Captain Mullen, who's an important corner. I see them taking a big step back. Tampa Bay, I see them as a boom or bust team. They can be a sleeper, or they can be what they are, or a 6-10 or 7-9 team. McNown is the key. They have a okay defense. It's just the defense buying in the Tampa cover two. Do they have the middle linebacker? Is the Levante David good enough or big enough to play the middle linebacker position and drop in coverage and cover the middle of the field? Do they have enough pass rush with Michael Johnson? It's time to tell. The Atlanta Falcons, plain and simply, injured and don't have a lot of defense. They're switching to 3-4. OCM New York, their best pass rusher Other than that, they have little or nothing on defense from rookie corners. Sean Weatherspoon got hurt. They were dependent on a lot of young linebackers. Um, and they get Julio Jones back, so they put on some points, but their defense is lackluster right now. And they lost their left tackle and Sam Baker, so Jake Matthews will be starting their left tackle, which could be a problem. They have problems protecting Matt Ryan, so we'll see. And I expect New Orleans to win the division. Drew Brees, Jarius Byrd, Kenny Vaccaro, Champ Bailey probably playing the nickel. Uh, the defense is tremendous. If they can duplicate what they did last year, it'll be tremendous. If they and Drew Brees can stay healthy, Marcus Colston, rookie Brandon Cooks is going to bring a lot of speed and energy to the to the offensive side of the ball. And Kenny Steele is a big playmaker out there also, who's going to be better coming into year two. Then we go to the NFC East. You got the New York Giants, who's going to need to protect Eli, and their defense is going to have to maintain a pass rush all year if they want to get back to the playoffs. And they have to run the ball. That's three keys for the Giants. You get down to the Eagles, defensively wise, they're not good at all. They're okay. I mean, okay in certain areas. They're still building. Um, they drafted a rookie Marcus Smith to help with the pass rush. He's doing little to shit out there in the preseason, but it's only preseason. Nick Foles look a little off this preseason, but I expect him to get it together. They have Shady McCoy. They bought Brand Sproles in, so they're going to be very explosive on offense, and I think they have enough defense just to get them over the hump into the playoffs. The Washington Redskins, look at them. Defensively, they have the pass rush. It's just them being stronger up front and their back end catching up with their front end. And how good RG3 is able to return to form. If you get return to form, they'll easily be a playoff team. If not, they won't be. They have Alfred Morris, Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garcon, and then the Cowboys. They're going to put up a lot of points, but their defense is piss poor. But I mean, NFC East is open. I mean, if the Cowboys can sustain, as mentioned, injuries this offseason to their defensive players, they will have a shot. But out this division, I'm going to pick the Redskins to finish at 10-6, and win the division. I believe RG3 will return to form. Then we go to the NFC West. You got Seattle Seahawks, defending champions. I'm going to let them go. I'm going to do them last. 49ers, they lost DeMar Bowman. They lost some cornerbacks in Terrell Williams, Carlos Rogers. Lost his safety in Dante Whitner. They returned Eric Reed and Patrick Willis and all those boys. Kaepernick is going to step up on offense. I look forward to them to make a solid push towards the playoffs. The Cardinals, they really had no problem besides Carson Palmer. Not an injury bug hitting them. They lost Darrell Washington. They lost Carlos Dansby last year. They lost Darnell Dockett last year, and their safety play is a little bit questionable with Tyrann Matthews coming off of the ACL injury. So they have some question marks that they didn't have coming into the training camp. Now they have to deal with Carson Palmer. If he doesn't turn the ball over, they can be a viable, strong team. Then we go to the St. Louis Rams. Outstanding top 5 defense, but a bottom 5 quarterback who can't stay healthy. So that's why he's a bottom 5 quarterback in Sam Bradford. They have weapons this year, so it might be a year where they put it all together. Or it might be a year where they figure out they're not going nowhere without a franchise quarterback. Then the Seahawks, you get the Seahawks. They lost Golden Tate, their number 1 receiver. Percy Harvin, if he can stay healthy, they have a real chance to return to the Super Bowl. They're not as deep in the defensive line as they was last year, but they retained all the key players that they had. They lost Barry Bryant, Chris Clemens, but they returned Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. They lost Brandon Brown. They returned Richard Sherman and Jeremy Lang. So, I mean, they got some corners that's coming back. And it should be a well-schooled defense. I got the Seahawks winning the division, 11-5. And my wild card teams will be the Philadelphia Eagles. No, not the Eagles. Yeah, I'll give the Eagles a wild card slot, and I'll give I'll give the Chicago Bears the last wild card spot. Philly and Chicago get the last 2 wild card spots. And primarily like the Super Bowl, I believe it comes down to three teams: Seattle, the Green Bay Packers, and and the New Orleans Saints. So out of those three, I pick I picked New. I like what New Orleans did. I had the New Orleans going to the Super Bowl. My personal pick. So let me know who y'all think y'all got going to Super Bowl and winning. Like, share, subscribe. We gonna